What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So, as the title said, new year, new builds. We're gonna dive right into it. And here she is in all her old, rusted out, junkyard looking glory. My ZX11. Right off the bat, see she has that extended swing arm. I don't know how many inches over stock. Definitely going to be coming through and doing a fat tire kit on this thing. Probably going to be sticking with the Vance and Hines as well, but doing a I think it's a sidewinder, where it's like it just comes straight off the headers. It comes right out along the side of the chassis. Going to get this thing lowered. I'm kind of jumping the gun because, as you can see, she is going to need some love. This bike is carbureted. I've looked up all the parts on this thing. They are basically dirt cheap. You can get brand new carbs, functioning, clean carbs for about 300 bucks. Gauge cluster. But we're going to be getting this thing pulled apart here soon. Like I said, I've just been doing some parts pricing. I'm gonna need throttles, all new setup, but go through this wiring. But that's the point. Get this pulled up. But that is the point, for this to be as meticulous of a build as possible. This one and the next one I show you, and even the ones we already have, the SRT4, the Sentra, all of it. But like I said, you can get brand new carbs off of eBay for like 300 bucks. I'm gonna come through here, learn all this wiring, get all this ugly shit cleaned up. This thing is gonna be beautiful when it's done. I can see it already, I can feel it. But yes, once again, the ZX11. I forgot the year. I'll put it on the screen. There's a lot of these in Japan. I did a lot of back and forth on keeping it or not. And then I found on Instagram, a lot of these are still alive in Japan. They have some crazy styling that they do to the fairings, that they do to the bike overall. Some of them, it's hard to even recognize how modern the bike looks. You can't even tell that it's a ZX11. But that gave me a lot of inspiration. I'll throw some pictures on the screen. But I'm excited about this bike. I'm excited. This thing is gonna look beautiful. Like I said, I'm really ready to see this fat tire kit, that side exit. We're gonna get to it, but let's go ahead and reveal the second build. And here is the second build, serving as a shelf currently. But this is a Honda VT500. I think it is in 80s. Now this bike, I'm not really too bothered with it being in the current state that it's in. This is going to be a bobber build. If for those of you who don't know what that is, that's basically a very minimalistic setup. Like you only have on the bike what you need to ride the bike. So for example, I'm going to get rid of this front wheel cover or whatever, come back and do all this wiring. We won't have a big ass headlight. We won't have some huge gauge setup. These handlebars will be raised like ape hangers, but not at an exaggerated height. I do, however, more than likely, I do have a feeling I'm gonna go with some pretty high up drag bars, kind of like what Jax had in Sons of Anarchy. I've always loved that because of that show. But anyway, like I said, a very minimalistic setup. I am gonna come through and swap this motor out. Once again, this is a 500cc. I've already priced the VT600 motor, which is a 600cc. It has a better chop, a better idle to it. It just sounds a lot better. We'll have to figure out getting the transmission to fit. It's coming out of a Honda as well, so that shouldn't be an issue at all. And then mainly with bobbers, the rear ends, typically people do, I think it's like I forget the specific name for it, but you basically delete the spring. It's just a solid setup from the chassis of the bike itself straight to the wheel. The only suspension you'd have is in your seat. Your seat will have a spring in it. Let me get some of this stuff pulled off and I'll show you guys how that frame rail looks. All right, so this is how that frame looks. This is where your tank would go, your seat. And then once again with that bobber, you cut this rear end off, get rid of that suspension, and then your suspension will be underneath your seat. But I will probably throw a sissy bar on this thing because my girl will be riding with me, just to allow her to relax. And then like I said, this is an 83, but I am excited about this thing, man. Like I said, I'm really ready to get this motor swap going. These builds are going to be meticulous. Only reason I haven't really dove into these bikes yet is just simply because of the space being taken. Once we get this thing up and rolling, I'll have the garage free. I want to go back through the SRT4 as well, but mainly get these bikes pulled apart. That way I have space to put parts places. So, but this video wasn't supposed to be a very long one. I hope you guys are excited as I am. I appreciate you guys pulling up to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next video.